I've not done a Love is Blind video yet, so I'm going to do one today. And the question I have is, who do you think would win the 2024 presidential election if the president was chosen by the stars of season 7 Love is Blind? Here we go. I think it's pretty easy to predict the votes of most of the women. I think most of them would vote for Kamala Harris. That includes Ashley, Alexandria, Marissa, and I'm going to put Marissa in the Kamala column because although she was in the military, I think she's a pretty progressive person, and she pointed out that she even dated a Trump supporter once. So I think that indicates that she personally is a Democrat. Taylor, she's an analytical person. Again, I think it's an easy call. Taylor is a Kamala voter. And Monica, I think those are easy calls to make. I think it's also fairly easy to predict who Brittany would vote for. I think she's a Trumper. I think she'd vote for Donald Trump. Something tells me she would follow the lead of her father or her sugar daddies. I don't know. I just think she's probably part of that camp. Hannah was the only one that gave me a little bit of pause. To me, she gives off the energy of a Trump voter a little bit, but I think in the end, she's a Kamala voter because she is a very empowered woman, and I don't think she wants anybody telling her how or what she can do with her own body. I think in the end, Hannah is a Kamala voter. Now, the guys are a more difficult group to deal with. Let's start with Garrett. I think Garrett, although he's a guy, I mean, I think you got to presume that most white guys are voting for the orange man. But Garrett, I think, is probably going to go for Kamala because of Taylor. Because I think, they're married. I think that Taylor is important to him. I think he genuinely loves her. I think he wants to vote in Taylor's best interest. And they're probably talking about having kids. And I think he would vote in the best interest of his daughters. So I think Garrett is going to be a Kamala voter as well. Now, Leo, this might surprise some of you, but I also think that Leo is going to vote for Kamala. Why? Because he's an art dealer. And I think that something about Leo just makes me feel as though most of his clients are limousine liberals on the East Coast. And I think he's going to vote along with those clients. I think that's kind of the crowd that he hangs out with, the limousine liberal crowd. Leo, I think, is going to go for Kamala. Tim is another guy who I think is clearly going to go for Kamala. After all, he talks about his two sisters who've passed away. I think he would see this vote in 2024 as a way to vote on behalf of his departed sisters. So I think that Tim is clearly going to vote for Kamala. Next, we've got Tyler. I don't know, something about Tyler just strikes me as the epitome of a non-voter. I don't think he's going to vote for anybody. I think he's going to stay home on election day. Stephen, I think he's a pretty easy guy to call. I think he's clearly going to vote for Trump, former military guy. Nothing about him seemed to indicate that he had any liberal tendencies. Nick D, another guy that's kind of hard to read. I think he's probably going to go for Trump. I don't know, just something about, former football player. He likes to present himself as a real macho guy. I don't know, something about Nick just gives off Trump vibes. Now, Ramses, he's an easy person to predict. He's way too cool to vote for Kamala Harris. I think Ramses is likely to vote for third-party candidate Cornel West. I mean, after all, Ramses looks like he could be Cornel's son. So it is my prediction that if the Love is Blind Season 7 stars picked the United States president in 2024, Kamala Harris would end up with 9 votes, Trump would have 3, Cornel West would have 1, and there would be 1 cast member who did not vote. I think that might be pretty close to the final result in this election. At least, I hope it is.